we can build mounts to use a VRS, and it talks about what is a mount on page 5. And it says, what are the mount options for, VRS solutions? And then what are the mount options for single base solutions, okay? So in a VRS solution, and if your software supports that, we would tell you to go ahead and operate using a VRS solution. So for example, all the demonstrations today was videos that Kyle and I made when I was in Montana, based out of Bozeman. And so we were in this region here called SWMT. With the but if we were trying to mount to just MTSU on a single base, the document shows you here that you would then it would be listed right here as MTSU_3, which is an RTCM correction, or MTSU_MSM, which is a multi-constellation full GNSS solution. But that would be directly to that mount. This FTPP is just a 4-letter identifier, remember, based on the naming structure on this map, okay? So with that said, I'm going to, if Kyle's, there's no questions, I'm going to minimize my screen here, my browser, and I'm going to start with using a piece of software. So again, no matter if you were using Juniper Systems Geode, they have a piece of software that's called Geode Connect. If you're using a Trimble receiver, we use a piece of software called Trimble Mobile Manager. If you were using some other manufacturer's receiver, there's usually a piece of software that allows you to connect to your receiver and then plug in these credentials that were provided to you. I'm going to go ahead and launch Trimble Mobile Manager here. And this is an iPhone, and I have that application. And I'm going to pause here. So I'm going to pause real quickly because one of the problems we have usually with folks using GIS or high accuracy GIS devices on a network is that they haven't kept their software updated. So always make sure you're running the latest application from whatever manufacturer, and then your firmware is updated, because usually when things are broken, it's not necessarily the network, the MTSRN or some other network. It is your software is not current, okay? So this is the latest version. It was updated that day we were doing this. And it's loading Trimble Mobile Manager. And and then once it's loaded here, I select, I want to connect to a device. And in this case, we were using a Trimble DA2, but this could be, an R580, an R980, an R12i, an R2. And I'm going to connect to that antenna, all right? Now, we use Trimble Mobile Manager or some third-party software to build the credentials to have the receiver talk to the MTSRN. So under configuration down here, you can see that I'm autonomous by the accuracy of 5 foot, by the way. I'm going to slow down here. You notice that TMM was designed automatically to just do auto, GNSS correction source, and auto output. Especially with the Trimble Catalyst DA2, it's designed to go and do Trimble Corrections Hub, which is not the MTSRN. So I actually want to say I want to build a custom configuration or GNSS correction source. Your third-party manufacturer or some other receiver might be providing some other type of real-time corrections by default too, and you'll need to say, I don't want those. I want to go to this custom source, all right? And so that's what we're going to do right now. So under auto down below here, you see I chose it to say custom. And when I choose custom, then I'm able to plug in my NTRIP settings, okay? Now, I'm showing right there that most third-party manufacturers will allow you to do NTRIP corrections or direct, which is no username and password. And so in our case, everywhere you would operate under MTSRN is NTRIP. It stands for Network Transmission of RTCM over IP. It's a standard, international standard that all of us are using, all manufacturers. And so and it's username and password. And so you can see here, I'm going to now edit those settings by clicking the Edit NTRIP settings, even though these are correct, and make sure that I plug in the right IP, the right port. So again, I'm going to pause and make sure everybody understands that the second issue that most people have is that they typed it in correctly because they didn't double check their work. So I would encourage you that you always double or triple check that you have typed in the server settings. The port will always be 2101. And then you have to know the mount point. I'm going to slow down here, remember, and say, hey, I don't know that mount point. Different softwares might allow you to see all the mounts, and some softwares won't show you any mount, and so you would have to then know how to key in that mount. And it is case sensitive. So again, if I minimize this, and I went back to that FAQ, sorry, the FAQ, the mount names are listed here, see? For the VRS or single base. And so that's one way you could do this by looking at it. And then later at the end, I'm going to show you another way you can get mounts, a mount list using a third-party software, okay? So I'm going to go back to my movie here. And remember, we're in Bozeman. And so that was here. And so that's why you see SWMT. So that's why I chose SWMT, VRS, and then CMRX. So in my example, we are going to choose a VRS solution, but you can see our software showed all the single base mounts also. And so you could have gone through the list following the FAQ and manually choose a single base solution if your software doesn't support a VRS solution, okay? And that's how I derived that. Then you would have to plug in your login credentials, and that's the username and password. And again, many times people get too fast with typos. Now here, not all manufacturers or all software supports that what we call a live datum transformation with a mapping solution. On the GNSS source reference frame, it's saying what is the reference frame of the correction source. And this is going to be extremely important as you GIS users and drone operators move into the next SPC change of 2022 where there's a different coordinate system. Today, this coordinate system is on NAT83 2011 EPIC 2010.00. But in the future, when everything does change and migrate, you might have to say that, well, the GNSS source reference frame is now on NAT83 2022, and then that way it'll properly do the datum transformation. But right now, for Montana, it is operating on NAT83 2011 EPIC 2010. And that's why I had to choose that correctly. It's not on NAT83 CORS 96 or some other previous NAT83, okay? So then in this particular software, I could apply a Geode model, which helps my GIS software, like Esri field maps, have better vertical. And that's why you notice there was a Geode model being selected right there. Okay. After choosing the GNSS source, I was able to make sure I chose the right Geode model. So now, once that's all set, I'll reconnect to that receiver, and this piece of software or any third-party software will tell you how accurate you are. So see, I'm going to choose that receiver and reconnect to it. It failed here, but we reconnected, and then it will work here. All right. And like any software, sometimes you just got to close out the software, reboot the receiver, reconnect, and then everything will wake up properly. And that's what will happen. I had nothing shameful to hide here. I just wanted to show you real world, right? And so once we rebooted the receiver and closed the app, relaunched the app, it was able to see the Bluetooth receiver. And that's just something common on lots of different receivers. It's like losing your headset on sometimes you just got to retell it it's there. So I'll move along here, and you can see it's loading. You can see I'm going to connect to that receiver, and now it connects. And then now watch your horizontal and vertical accuracy. As it gains more than 4 satellites, real-time corrections will start to come in. And then I'll show you that you can drop down to the sky plot to see what's going on. And then you can also go down to status to see what's going on there in more detail, okay? So 3 satellites, and like I mentioned, 4 real-time corrections start coming in. So now I have 6 satellites. I have enough satellites to start getting and tracking. And you can see we're autonomous here because it's 6-foot accuracy. And it even says positional status autonomous. Then you can see data coming in by bytes, and that matters. And so that on most manufacturers will show you all this information. And now as bytes start coming in, and I'm tracking 21 satellites, you'll see the accuracy getting better. And it might have picked up SBAS first, and then all of a sudden it'll get even more accurate. And now it says RTK because this is a DA2 Catalyst 1 subscription capable of doing carrier. And now I'm humming at, what I would be expecting from a Catalyst 1 subscription. It shows that I'm doing RTK. I've got 3 seconds latency, and I'm getting information in. And there's my full satellite constellation. So again, whatever manufacturer you're using, there's a piece of software that will probably say, yes, this is how we connect and set up credentials to get into MTSRN. Now, why a Trimble user would always want to use Trimble Mobile Manager is because that allows you to know, like, 1, your credentials are correct. You were able to see your receiver go from autonomous to RTK or decimeter or 30 centimeters or 60 centimeters, whatever your specific receiver is capable of doing.